Let's talk about the lore of Brook and Princess Shuri. Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd. Today, let's talk about One Piece chapter 1183. And we continue with the Loki fight, but we move to Brook's flashback because Gunko is apparently a princess from Brook's time from 80-ish years ago. So, the thing about the significance of this is the fact that no Straw Hat other than Sanji got a second flashback, and Nami being the exception, we don't know her origins. Well, the same could be said for Zoro, but we got that in SBS. The point I'm trying to make is the second time that Oda has done it with a Straw Hat that we got their second flashback. And this is very significant because the kingdom that Brook lived in before his pirate era, he was let's say, a royal guard. A royal guard, a very strong swordsman, in fact, one of the strongest in the kingdom, and I'd like to believe that the kingdom is pretty strong. And so, Brook, obviously, compared to, let's say, Zoro, Mihawk, does not stand a chance, but I believe that his swordsman skills got rusty over time. Maybe we're overhyping Brook's skills, or maybe it has a latent potential that has yet to be unlocked through more training. But the point is, now let's move on to Princess Shuri. So Princess Shuri is Gunko. So something happened in the kingdom that's gonna lead to this. Is that something happened with that kingdom had a problem with the world government, whether it be dealing with the Void Century or the government or the country wasn't able to provide taxes or didn't go with the government's plan. Something happened that made the world government raid it. And I think, and I would believe, that Brook, after leaving, since Brook does not know how Princess Shuri ended up as Gunko, I'd like to believe that Brook left the country before this event went down. The event I'm trying to talk about is that obviously someone from the world government went there and took Gunko with them and turned her into a God's Knight. So something happened after Brook left that made the world government furious and probably attacked the kingdom, and then Gunko was somehow chosen to be a God's Knight, or Princess Shuri was chosen to be a God's Knight. Now that, to be honest, is very strange. We've had instances where, let's say with Shamrock, there was an accident, and then we got Shanks and Shamrock. With, let's say, Ginny, well, someone took an interest in Ginny, and then they kidnapped her the typical Celestial Dragon way. But nobody takes someone from the like a lower realm into the Red Line, into the Pangaea Castle, to turn them into a God's Knight. That doesn't line up at all. So I think there is something interesting to be revealed, and probably Princess Shuri is a very, very, very important character moving forward. And I would like to think that if we're going through this flashback, and if Imu, the way he acted, the way he did, he just threw the block of ice and into Gunko, Imu doesn't really care about Gunko, so it's easy for me to assume, or easy for all of us to assume, that Gunko will probably be a part of the Straw Hats, the same way Bonnie is and the Dr. Vegapunk is. Not saying she's the next Straw Hat, but I think it goes to that place. And yeah, there could be some plot action regarding Gunko if Imu wants to use her to do his own biddings and somehow manipulate the situation. Yeah, that can happen. But ultimately, if the Straw Hats do end up winning against Imu, and if Imu runs out of time, I believe that Gunko strays with the Straw Hats. And this flashback is leading exactly that. That Brook had some sort of a relation with Gunko, with Princess Shuri, and now we're unveiling that, and maybe after Gunko gets her memories back, we will probably be able to recall what happened to the kingdom. Other than this, another key thing to mention is the mention of Dozan. Imu mentions a character called Dozan that he exterminated back before. He realizes that he cannot turn Loki and Luffy into his subordinates by using Domi Reversi, so he's gonna try to raise them both, which makes sense. So it's proven that Imu is not here to Domi Reversi Loki or Luffy. I think that's pretty much established at this point, and one of the biggest theories was that Imu was somehow into Domi Reversi Loki, but I don't think that's gonna happen, especially with Imu saying this. But yeah, so the mention of Dozan could be a very prominent ancient figure, could be a god, could be someone similar to Luffy who inherited Nika's power. Now, remember, the world government said that the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, has not been awakened for the last 800 years. But it doesn't mean that there are other devil fruit. There isn't like any other devil fruit candidates or users in the past that have tried to, overthrow the world government, and Imu had to put an end to it. Or it could simply be that Dozan was a part of the ancient kingdom and someone very, very important, or even a god like Zaza. I can see that because of the world government's fears of Zaza, of rain and water pouring down. So the idea is that there are other gods that exist within the realm of One Piece other than Nika, and maybe these are imaginations of the people who wanted to be freed, and that turned into some sort of a devil fruit, or maybe the gods really did exist. So Dozan could be one of those gods, or rather a very prominent figure that we will get to know very soon. Or maybe never at all. Well, that rarely happens. But the point is, Dozan seems to be a very particular character, and again, Oda name drops these characters here and there. Part of me does remember another character being randomly named in Wano, or it was either Wano, where Kaido called someone, or it was Doflamingo who called someone by a nickname or something, and we didn't really get to know who that was. I couldn't seem to find it up. I looked it up everywhere. I couldn't find who the character was. But comment down below if you guys remember who it was, and who called that mysterious character and what was his name. That's another thing. So yeah, this Dozan character is another lore drop, and I believe that we will get a bit more reveals of the Ancient Kingdom. But overall, this chapter was pretty fire, getting to see Brook's flashback again, and maybe in fact that another thing that I would have to mention at the end of it is that I think the power that's been shown that the Queen of the Kingdom has, as well as Brook, is probably very high. Brook probably lost a lot of his skills because he was alone in a vessel for years and years and years, and without any practice and without any real combat to make himself stronger. Maybe the kingdom required someone strong, such as a God's Knight or maybe a Gorosei, and Imu probably had a particular interest in Princess Shuri because of some talent she has. So that's it for the video, guys. That's it for the theory. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.